Hello, it's me, and I'm here at the Crumbs Doilies shop in Soho, and Christmas is finally here. Yay! So you're probably wondering what to bake for Santa and his reindeer this evening to keep them going on their long, very arduous journey. And they do love mince pies, I hear, but they're probably a bit bored of them, so I thought I'd mix it up this year and make mini mince pie Pop Tarts. Let's go. So I'm going to make a really nice, rich, sweet short crust pastry. You can use shop bought pastry or puff pastry if you want, but this pastry is really good because you've got quite an acidic mincemeat going inside, and this will really balance it out and it will be really tasty. So to start with, I've got myself my food processor here, and into that I am going to put 250 grams of plain flour. And to that I'm going to add 160 grams of chopped unsalted butter, which is cold, so it's just come out the fridge, and I've chopped mine up pretty small. If it's too big, you'll have to overwork it a little bit to get it to a nice fine crumb, but this is just right. And then 65 grams of caster sugar, and then just a pinch of salt, and then I'm going to whack the lid on, and I'm going to process this for 30 seconds or so, just until it becomes a fine crumb and there's no big lumps of butter still left. That's ready. It's a nice fine breadcrumb consistency. And if you don't have a food processor, don't worry, you can do this by hand. You just need to get your fingers in there and rub all the butter in with the sugar and the flour. Just takes a bit longer, obviously, but mine's ready now. So next up, I'm going to add a whole large free-range eggs and 2 egg yolks. For my 2 egg yolks, I'm just going to separate the whites from the yolks, obviously, and then I'm going to save my egg whites because I can make meringues later. And a top tip is that egg whites actually freeze really well, so you can just label your bag or your container with what's in there and save them for another day. And lastly, just half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then it's lid on, and I'm going to process that until it starts to clump together. So now I'm just clumping all of that together by hand in this bowl, just to finish it off until it becomes a kind of smooth dough. So once you have a nice smooth ball of dough, just wrap that in cling film and whack it in the fridge for a minimum of half an hour, up to an hour if you're using it today, and you can keep that in the fridge for about a week if you don't want to make these straight away, but I'm going to get on with it. My dough's been chilling out for about an hour now and it's ready to roll, so I'm going to start by liberally dusting my worktop with flour. And then using a rolling pin, I'm just going to roll that out to about half a centimetre thick. And once you've rolled it out to the desired thickness, you need to start by making a sharp line across the bottom, and then we can start cutting the little shapes for the Pop-Tarts out after that. So I've got my trusty metal ruler here, I'm just going to cut along that. Now the amount of Pop-Tarts that you get out of your dough is entirely dependent on how big your Pop-Tarts are, and you can make them whatever size you like, but I think a nice size is 6 centimetres by 4 centimetres for little mini guys. And that'll give me about 12 to 14 Pop-Tarts. I'm just going to start by making a nice clean corner. Keep your scraps because you can re-roll those, of course. I'm just going to cut as many rectangles as I can out of my dough before re-rolling. Now that I've got my pieces cut out, it's time to stick everything together, and to do that I'm going to use a beaten egg and a paintbrush. And obviously each Pop-Tart has a base and a lid, so on the base side of it you need to dip your paintbrush into the egg and paint around the edge. And now comes the filling, and I'm using mincemeat, which I have put in the food processor just to whiz up a little bit, because mincemeat can be quite chunky, and obviously these are really, really small, so you don't want to have like half of it taken up with one sultana. So I've put that through the food processor. If you're finding it hard to find mincemeat and you just want to make regular jammy Pop-Tarts, then you can do this exact same recipe but with jam instead. So I'm going to put the tiniest amount into that little frame that I've made with my egg. So just grab a teaspoon, and it's like half a teaspoon goes in. And then to prepare the top part of it, I'm just going to use a fork to just stab a couple of holes into the top, and that's going to help let all the hot air escape so they don't burst all over the place. And once you've made your holes, just carefully place that lid on top of the base and just press down around the edges where the egg is to seal it. And just to help the sealing process and also to give it a bit of a decorative flourish, I'm just going to take my fork again and just press down gently, and that's going to seal those two sides together. And once you've done that, just transfer it over to a baking sheet which is lined with greaseproof paper, and then get on with the rest of them. And to finish them off, I'm just going to brush them lightly with my beaten egg. And now I'm just going to bake these at 175 degrees C for 11 to 12 minutes or until they're lovely and golden all around. My little mince pie Pop Tarts have come out of the oven and they smell amazing and they look really cute. And the best way to enjoy these guys is still warm. You can let them cool down and you can even decorate them if you want to, but I like to keep things simple. So I've left these for about 5 minutes. Now I can't wait any longer. It's a little bit on the hot side, but that is a tasty, tasty treat. That pastry is so lovely and light and short. It just crumbles away, and then you're left with that lovely mincemeat. I love these, and I think Santa and all the reindeer are going to love them too if there are any left. You can keep these in a Tupperware container for about a week, and you can make them even more delicious by heating them up again. Just whack them back in the oven for about 5 minutes and they'll be just as good as they are right now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then you should give it the thumbs up. And don't forget, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on the link at the end. I'll be back next week with another recipe for you guys, so I'll see you then. Bye!